Some mornings, when the sun has just risen and the breeze still carries a cool, gentle touch, life seems to slow down for just a breath, long enough for us to realize that the simplest things often hold the most love. Not everyone knows how to love through action. Not everyone remembers each person they care about in every small moment of the day. But Cutis is different. That tiny little monkey, with his round dark eyes and a soul as clear as a mountain stream, manages to do what even adults sometimes forget. Today, let me tell you about one of Cutis' ordinary mornings. A morning trip to the market. A morning where he did nothing grand, said nothing fancy, and yet left a warmth in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it that is impossible to fully describe. This is the story of a little monkey who knows how to love, with every bit of his small, generous heart. That morning was truly a beautiful morning. The sky was clear and blue without a single cloud. Early sunlight spread golden warmth across the familiar village road, and the wind drifted through the lush green leaves lining Beotehat's sides of the path, making a sound as soft and gentle as a lullaby. The road was quiet, the air was clean. Everything seemed to be inviting someone to step outside, to breathe deeply, to simply feel. And Cutis, our lively, mischievous little monkey, was enjoying that morning in his very own way. He was sprawled in the back of the vehicle, body completely relaxed, head tilted slightly back, the posture of someone without a single worry in the world. Because today, Cutis had handed the responsibility of driving over to BUEM, his younger brother. This was to something Cutis did every day. Usually, he was the one steering, the one leading the way, the one deciding which direction to go. But today, the road was empty, the weather was beautiful, and perhaps more importantly, Cutis trusted his brother. He wanted to give BUEM a chance, to let him try, to let him experience the feeling of being in charge of a journey, however small. BUEM sat up front, both hands gripping the handlebars firmly, eyes fixed straight ahead with an expression of adorable seriousness. He knew his big brother had trusted him with this important task, and he didn't want to let him down. Every turn, every straight stretch of road, BUEM handled steadily and carefully, as if this were the most important journey of his young life. Cutis lay in the back, glancing over to watch his brother, and he saw BUEM was doing well, really, genuinely well. The quiet road stretched out before them, the two brothers riding together under the early morning sun, and in that moment, everything felt peacefully, strangely perfect. Then Cutis sat up a little straighter. He looked at his younger brother, and that look held something not everyone can put into words. The pride of an older sibling watching a younger one grow, watching them do something that seems small, but is, in truth, deeply meaningful. Cutis spoke up to praise his brother. Just a few words, nothing elaborate, nothing formal, but they were sincere words, the kind that come from the heart rather than from habit or politeness. And to BUEM, that made all the difference. The little one lit up visibly. His eyes brightened. He sat up just a little straighter. His grip on the handlebars grew just a little firmer. The way BUEM responded to his big brother's praise was a reminder that sometimes the right words at the right moment can change someone's entire day. They don't need to be grand, they do need to be real. The two brothers continued their journey under that clear blue sky, an ordinary morning that, for the two of them, was quietly becoming a memory. The closer they got to the market, the busier the road became. Pedestrians, vehicles weaving past each other, the sound of conversation, the calls of vendors, everything blended together into that characteristic lively hum of a village market morning. It was completely different from the quiet road they had just traveled. Here, everything was vibrant and bustling. Cutis sat up, his eyes quickly scanning the crowd of people and vehicles jostling near the market entrance. He observed for a moment, not because he was worried, but because he was calculating. BUEM still had the handlebars. The little one still sat up straight, still looked serious. But Cutis understood. With roads this crowded, the tight squeezes, the narrow corners, the pedestrians stepping out unexpectedly, this wasn't a situation for his younger brother to handle alone. Not because BUEM was too capable, but because Cutis was the older brother. And the older brother's job is to take back responsibility when the moment calls for it. Cutis signaled to BUEM gently. No need for many words, just one gesture. Let me handle this. BUEM understood immediately, handing the handlebars back to his big brother with an expression of complete trust. Cutis took the wheel. He steered the vehicle through the crowd skillfully and confidently. Not hurried, not reckless, but never hesitating either. His eyes flicked quickly to either side, scanning the stalls, searching for what he needed. Cutis hadn't come to the market to browse. He had come with a clear purpose, and he knew exactly what he was looking for. Then he stopped. In front of him was a fruit stall. Fruit arranged in neat rows, their colors bright and vivid in the morning light. Cutis stepped down from the vehicle and began to choose. The way Cutis chose fruit wasn't like an ordinary shopper. He picked up a heart piece and looked it over carefully, not because he was slow or difficult, but because he was choosing with all the care of someone who understood that what he was bringing home was meant for people he loved. Anything bruised, left behind. Anything not quite ripe, passed over. Only the plump, fresh, most beautiful pieces made it onto the vehicle. BUEM stood beside him, watching his big brother work. The little one didn't say a word, just watched every one of Cutis' movements, the thoroughness, the focused attention, the way his big brother always gave his whole heart to whatever he was doing, no matter how small. And in BUEM's heart, pride for his big brother quietly swelled once more. The fruit was loaded carefully onto the vehicle. Cutis gave a satisfied nod, got back on, and continued to the next stall. The second fruit stall, and Cutis stopped again, this time lingering a little longer. He stood before the display, eyes moving across each type of fruit laid out in front of him. But this time, he was to just looking vekep ite heart his eyes. He was remembering with his heart. In Cutis' mind came the image of his father, the way Dad would sit after a meal, picking out a familiar piece of fruit, eating slowly and quietly. And the image of his mother, the way Mom would reach out to choose the kinds of fruit Cutis had known, she loved for as long as he could remember, from when he was very small and would follow her to the market, and she would teach him the name of every single thing. Cutis didn't need anyone to remind him. He remembered on his own. And that kind of memory, the memory of a loved one's preferences, only belongs to those who truly pay attention, who truly notice the people around them. He began choosing, more carefully than the time before, because this time it was tea for a shared meal. It was specifically for Dad, specifically for Mom. Each piece of fruit was a moment of thinking about each person. Each piece was an unspoken "mort love you, Dad," an unspoken "mort met thinking of you, Mom," not said aloud, but fully expressed in every small, deliberate choice. BUEM still stood there, watching his big brother. The little one didn't fully understand what he was witnessing, but he felt it. Felt that his big brother was doing something not just with his hands, but with everything he had inside him. In BUEM's eyes, his big brother was truly something special. Not special because he drove skillfully, not special because he knew how to pick fresh fruit, but special because he remembered every single person. Even in the middle of a crowded market, even surrounded by noise, Cutis' heart was still turned toward the people waiting for him at home. The things were loaded onto the vehicle. The journey continued. With everything they needed now purchased, Cutis got on the vehicle and began the journey home. The two brothers rolled along the familiar village road once more, but this time the vehicle was more loaded, and somehow their hearts felt more full as well. Cutis drove, BUEM sat behind, the two of them quiet in that comfortable way of people who don't need conversation to feel at ease with one another. And then that scent hit them. Rich, warm, fragrant. The smell of fried bananas just pulled from the oil, drifting from a small cart parked at the roadside. The kind of smell that no one can simply drive past without at least turning their head. Cutis stopped the vehicle. No long deliberation needed. He stepped down, bought a few bags of still steaming fried bananas, and loaded them carefully onto the vehicle. This wasn't impulsiveness. This was simply Cutis. He always knew that a trip home, carrying something warm and fragrant, would make that home just a little bit happier when he walked through the door. The two brothers continued on their way. Then Cutis stopped again. This time, not because of a smell, but because a memory surfaced. Mom. Mum loves sweet cakes. Not something she'd mentioned today, not something anyone had reminded him of. He just remembered. The kind of remembering that needs no reminder, no written note. It simply lives quietly in your heart, without you ever realizing it got there. In front of him, a small roadside bakery. Sweet cakes arranged behind a glass display, looking soft and fragrant. Cutis stepped down, went inside, and bought one for Mom. Holding the small bag of cake in his hands, he wore a little smile. The smile of someone doing something no one asked for, no one knows about, but that they themselves know is right. That kind of smile, it can be faked. BUEM waited on the vehicle, watching his brother walk back out with the bag in hand. The little one didn't ask any questions, he just watched. And in that watching, something was quietly being planted inside him, a small seed about what it means to live with thoughtfulness, with care. Now the vehicle was truly full. Fruit, fried bananas, sweet cake, all gathered together, packed carefully, ready to be brought home. The two brothers hit the road, heading toward the home that was waiting for them. Getting close to home now, the familiar road began to come into clearer view for the two brothers. Then Cutis suddenly stopped the vehicle. Not because anything was blocking their path, not because of traffic, but because something at the roadside had pulled his gaze. A familiar figure. Cutis squinted. His heart recognized it before his eyes could confirm. It was Dad. His father was working by the roadside, diligent, absorbed. The way a person works when they haven't developed the habit of looking around while they re-at it. Sweat on his forehead, his back bent slightly with the effort of the task. In the middle of a morning that was growing warmer by the minute, Dad was still here, not complaining, not resting, just working. Cutis stood up on the vehicle, he waved. Not a gentle or hesitant wave, but a big enthusiastic one, the kind of wave from a child who wants his father to see him from far away, who wants to say, "Dad, Mortem here, Mort met looking at you." But Dad didn't look up. His father kept his head down, kept working. The rhythm of his hands didn't change. He had no idea his son was standing not far away, waving, looking at him with eyes that held something hard to name. Tenderness, a wanting to be seen, and the quiet understanding of a child old enough to know that his father works so hard he sometimes does to have time to lift his head. Cutis stood there for one more moment. His hand slowed, then dropped to his side. No sigh, no look of sadness, just a quiet knowing. Dad is working, Dad needs to focus, and love does need to be acknowledged to still be there. Cutis sat back down, got on the vehicle, and continued the journey home. But inside him, a small seed had been planted. Thoughts of Dad, of what he was doing out there, of whether Dad had eaten breakfast, of whether Dad was there alone as the morning grew slowly toward midday. He didn't yet know what he would do with that thought, but he knew he wouldn't forget it. Back home, Cutis didn't pause to catch his breath. He moved quickly, carrying each bag and package off the vehicle and into the house. Careful, neat, not dropping or scattering anything. Each bag of fruit, each package of fried bananas, the sweet cake, all arranged neatly in the kitchen, one by one. Only when everything was put away did Cutis run upstairs. He pushed the bedroom door open gently and paused for just a beat. The baby was asleep, sleeping deeply and soundly, lips softly pursed, breathing as steady and even as gentle waves, body completely relaxed in the way only a child with nothing to worry about can sleep. Cutis looked at the little one for a moment, his eyes softening in the most natural way, the way they do when you look at something truly innocent and peaceful. But Mom wasn't here. Cutis walked around the house, the living room, nothing. The kitchen, he'd just been there unloading things, no Mom. He stopped and listened, and then he heard it. From behind the house came the sound, the rustling of grass, the steady rhythm of a blade cutting, regular and unhurried. A sound so familiar that Cutis recognized it instantly, without needing to see. Mom was out in the backyard, cutting grass to feed the cattle. Cutis didn't stand and wait, he ran. Mom was sitting out in the backyard. Her back was bent slightly with the task. Her hands moved quickly, one hand gathering grass, the other holding the blade, cutting in a steady, clockwork rhythm. The morning sun fell across her silhouette, creating an image so familiar that Cutis could have closed his eyes and still seen it. The image of the person who was always there, always working, always thinking of others before herself. Cutis ran to her. No calling out, no words first. He simply ran straight to her and wrapped his arms around her. The hug of a child returning from somewhere, even if that somewhere was just the market. But when you get home and you see Mom, you have to hug her, not for any specific reason, just because you have to. Mom stopped what she was doing. Her hand came to rest on Cutis' back, gentle, warm, in a way that only a mother's hand can manage. Not a pat, not a ruffle of the hair, just placing her hand there, holding still as if to say, "Mort no you re here, Mort met here too." The two of them stayed still in that moment. In the distance, the cattle shifted quietly in their enclosure. Wind moved through the garden, and in the middle of all that ordinary simplicity, there was a moment very small but very full. A little monkey hugging his mom in the backyard, and neither of them needing to say anything more. Then Cutis stepped back and watched his mom work. He didn't run off to play. He just stood there, watching her, watching the way someone does when they want to be close, want to be present, want their mom to know that someone is with her. And Mom knew. After a while, she stood up and carried Cutis inside. The two of them washed their hands together, water running, a small quiet laugh, the atmosphere of a morning shared between a mother and her child. Moments like these, so ordinary we easily forget them, are the very ones we remember most when we are older, when we are farther from home. Stepping into the kitchen, Mom saw everything Cutis had brought back. She stood and looked for a moment at the neatly stacked fresh fruit, the bags of fried bananas, the sweet cake sitting in the corner of the counter, not looking to inspect, but looking the way someone does when they understand the effort behind everything sitting in front of them. Then she turned to Cutis. Her face, the face weathered by sun and wind, used to carrying the weight of the household from morning until night,